So then, given that in the last video I went into what we could be seeing with the Universal Park in that whether we could actually see it happen, and I tried to focus on, although things that aren't certain because it could still not happen and nothing's set in stone yet, focus on things that we know to have happened and what is currently feasible and what is happening with this park from what we know. And although going down the speculatory route, not going too far down that, I really wanted to, after making that video, make a video again about ride models which I would love to see at this possible Universal Park if it were to happen. Now, something that I've got to make clear here, much like the last video even stated that this park may never open, which it may never open, there's always things that can fall through and even that's not set in stone. This video is purely ride models that I think would be really cool to see in a Universal Park if we were to get one in the UK. There is no fact or evidence to back any of this up. This is literally just things that I would like to see there. And it's more a thing if I thought it would be great if I were to make a video about rides that I would love to see there, and if you guys would be up for commenting and putting rides that you would love to see there in the comment section, because there is nothing better than reading what other people think would work there as well, because it means that you can really open your mind to the possibility of what rides we could have here, because I'm very aware that this is purely me sat down going, well, that'd be cool and that'd be really cool to see, and I haven't really looked past my scope of rides which I think would work. But so something that I'd love to stress is I'd love to hear what ride models you would love to see at this park if it were to happen in the comments, because it would be great to see. So then, first up, an attraction which is actually at other Universal Parks and is one which I think would work brilliantly if the Universal Park were to open in the UK, is a robot arm ride, a lot like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but to a different IP. Now that's because I think this ride would be so great because it's also indoors, and they stated that they want to have a lot of indoor attractions, but something which I think would just be great to see would be one of these rides, but maybe with a different IP, because as I saw somewhere they were on about they want to bring new attractions to this resort, having it themed to a different IP with the same ride system would be something which I think would really work, and it would be a really different ride to have in the UK, and it would be something which I'd love to be able to go on in this country, because the times when I've been on Forbidden Journey over in Florida, it just blows me away every time, and it really is one of my favourite rides to go on, especially in the Universal Parks. It's just really immersive and really good fun. After that, a ride which I think would be amazing to see would be a Dynamic Attractions SFX coaster, mainly because these ride models I just think are incredible to look at and are so versatile that Universal could do so much with one of these, and it really is the company which I think could really bring this attraction to life in their park if they were to open one in the UK. And that is because you can have this ride integrated with a theme very heavily, with side slides and all sorts like that, which it can do so many different things, and I just think it would be really great to see if Universal were to open one in the park, because it really is a ride model which I think is so versatile, and especially given that you can have this ride sort of go down the story of more like a dark ride, being indoors in an indoor coaster, it means it won't be weather reliant either. After that, something which I would just love to see is another ride, again most of these are actually existing rides at Universal Parks, but is an Intamin LSM launch coaster / Intamin Blitz, a lot like VelociCoaster, but looking more in terms of scenery like TARON at Phantasialand, and that is personally just because terrain coasters I think are great, and as I'm sure a lot of you will know, TARON, which weaves around ridiculous amounts of times and I think has, isn't it, the highest crossovers of track of any other ride in the world, it just works so brilliantly, and Universal could really theme up an Intamin Blitz so that it's just a beautiful area with this coaster sort of woven in between the scenery and buildings. It would look incredible, and that really would be a ride which I think you could really have as the flagship photoed ride for the park. And we could even see it work brilliantly with inversions added to it, because obviously Taron doesn't technically have any inversions, it's more just a terrain coaster. We could see them have inversions on it because Intamin Blitzes can, multiple do, and I think it would be really great to see in the UK, especially with a double launch or triple launch possibly. That would be beautiful to see really, wouldn't it? Or at least I think it would, which is probably what most of this list is going to be. So for a ride more down the family routes, which I think would be great to see, would be a Intamin family motorbike launch coaster, and again it's a ride based off an existing one at an existing Universal Park. I'm clearly being so original in this list, and that's because it would be a lot like Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. That's a tongue twister, but I really think that that ride would really work for a UK park, because I was able, luckily, to get on it when I was in Florida and ride on the sidecar and motorbike seat, and I was just blown away with how many different bases this ride covered in what you enjoyed about it. It was great at storytelling, it had really good elements in it and felt quite snappy, and the ride vehicles speak for themselves. They're just incredible to look at. And I think if we were to theme it to something different, possibly, I'm not sure, you could even go on the dreaded IP of Fast and Furious but make it more of a family roller coaster-esque thing, which doesn't really have the greatest reputation giving some attractions they have, but it could really work and they could really do something different with it, because this ride model really does allow for whatever you want to build around it, really, doesn't it? And you could do loads with it, especially in the UK industry. You could have another Harry Potter themed one, that's always a possibility. variety. You could go down so many different themes, or possibly Lord of the Rings, which I've seen passed around a lot. You could have it theme into that storyline very well. So yeah, that would be a ride model which I just really would love to see come to the UK, because it blew me away really. And last but certainly not least, I thought I need to cover the basis of a dark ride that I'd love to see. And on top of that, I would love to see a trackless dark ride brought to the Universal Park. Now, that's mainly because I just really like trackless dark rides, but I think Universal really would be able to put one of their incredible IPs into this. Like, one thing which came to mind instantaneously, because I just think it's a great IP to use, would be the Back to the Future franchise. And that's because Back to the Future, really, everybody has heard of it and loves it and has that special place in their heart for it. And I think that that would really hit the ground running if they were to pull it off with a really well-themed dark ride experience themed around a Back to the Future storyline. That would be incredible to see, really, wouldn't it? And I know it's probably a real far-fetched one, but I was just thought, I've got to put it in here because it's one which I think would be so great to see, and I wanted to know what other people thought about it. Or they could even go down the route of horror attraction, which Universal has multiple of. They could theme it to one of their multiple horror film franchises, which would also be absolutely great to see, especially if Universal themed it to the level that, well, they obviously would if they were to build it. It would be amazing, and that really would be one of the things which I think a lot of people would go to the park for, especially as a dark ride in this country. So then, thank you for watching. Those really were just rides that I would like to see there, and I again will stress there's no evidence behind any of it. It's literally just I thought I'll make a video of rides I'd like to see there, because why not? It's been something which I would love to make a video on, so I thought why not actually do it. I also must say that I very deliberately did not mention Harry Potter being attached to an IP for it, mainly because it's really been playing in my head here of will they or won't they, because part of me thinks, are they going to want to take away from the actual Harry Potter tours, which is just down the road from where this site is, or will they want to work alongside it, and is it something that they would actually want to build upon, which I really can't decide upon, because there's part of me saying, well, they really won't want to challenge it, and the other part of me is going, for the time to use the Harry Potter IP, a park in England is the perfect place to use it. So yeah, I thought I'll leave that out because it's been playing havoc in my mind. Please do put in the comments attractions that you would love to see if this park did open in the UK, and attractions that you would think would work. I'd love to see them, and well, I probably need to, because I've got a very narrow-minded idea of attractions in my head at the minute, and really am looking forward to seeing what other people would love to see. So please do put them in the comments. I'd love to see them. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.